In adult education, the role of the teacher has changed. No longer is the educator simply a transmitter of information. Instead, today's facilitator is a guide, a coach, and a collaborator, someone who creates the space for learning rather than controlling every part of it. This shift is critical because adults don't want to be lectured at. They want to be respected, engaged, and invited into the process. And that's where the facilitator makes all the difference. So what exactly does a facilitator do in adult education? First, the facilitator creates a safe, inclusive learning environment. Adults carry life experience, baggage, and vulnerability into every learning space. Some haven't studied in years. Others may feel anxious, skeptical, or unsure. The facilitator's first role is to build trust. That means creating a space where questions are welcome, differences are respected, and mistakes are seen as part of learning, not failure. Psychological safety is the foundation of adult learning. Without it, very little else works. Second, the facilitator activates prior knowledge. Adults bring a wealth of experience to the table, and they want that to be acknowledged. The facilitator connects new content to what learners already know. They ask reflective questions. They encourage sharing. They make learning personal and relevant. Instead of saying, "Here's what you need to know," the facilitator says, "How does this connect to what you've already seen, done, or struggled with?" Third, the facilitator guides rather than lectures. That means using active learning strategies. Group discussions, case studies, role plays, problem-solving activities, collaborative projects. The facilitator doesn't need to have all the answers. Instead, they pose powerful questions, structure meaningful activities, and help learners discover their own insights. Fourth, the facilitator adapts to the learners. No two adult learners are the same. Different paces, different learning styles, different goals. A great facilitator reads the room, whether physical or virtual, and adjusts accordingly. This might mean slowing down, going deeper, offering alternative formats, or shifting activities on the fly. It's about being flexible and responsive, not rigid or scripted. Fifth, the facilitator encourages reflection. Adult learning isn't just about what happens in the moment. It's about how that moment leads to change. That's where reflection comes in. Facilitators build in time for journaling, discussion, and feedback. They help learners pause, process, and connect learning to real life. Sixth, the facilitator gives meaningful feedback. Not just grades or scores, but real constructive input. They help learners see their progress, recognize their growth, and identify next steps. Feedback is timely, specific, and encouraging. And sometimes the facilitator invites feedback too, on the process, on the course, on their own role. Because facilitation is not just teaching, it's learning alongside your learners. Seventh, the facilitator fosters community. Adult learners thrive in connection. Facilitators build group cohesion, encourage collaboration, and create shared purpose. They make sure everyone feels seen and supported. This turns a class into a learning community. And when learners feel connected, they engage more deeply and retain more of what they learn. Finally, the facilitator models lifelong learning. They're not just there to teach, they're there to grow. Great facilitators stay curious, keep learning, and show humility. They admit what they don't know. They model how to learn through questions, exploration, and experimentation. That's powerful because when learners see a facilitator still learning, they're inspired to keep learning too. So, the role of the facilitator is more than managing a lesson plan. It's about sparking transformation. It's about unlocking potential. It's about guiding learners to see what's possible, not just in the content, but in themselves. Facilitators don't just teach, they invite, they empower, and they change lives. One conversation, one connection, one insight at a time.